Hello, YouTube, and welcome to part one of a pendant that I'm going to try to do. I have a very rough idea of what I'm going to do, and I'm not gonna lie, it's partially just flat kind of copying. It's also adding different styles I've seen and or done to what I saw. And yeah, screw it. I'm just going for it. So, part one is sourcing some metal for this. I almost feel that I should be soldering this frame, but I'm not going to. What we have is 5 marquee garnet, a purple labradorite, and an amethyst. And yeah, we're going for this. I don't know how long or how not long this might take, but so we're gonna do that then. For the bottom. The top. Alright, so I'm gonna start cutting pieces of metal. And this is going to be the frame. Um That's an interesting. Okay. So then real quick, I'm gonna put together a scroll of bale. Okay, yeah, bale. Yeah, that'll be long enough. And then I'm gonna do another one. Nice thumbnail. Thank you. I wanted to get some people's imagination going. Okay. That's a good start. So somewhere I have 16 gauge half round. This shouldn't surprise anybody. So I rolled one of these, and I felt like I rolled it backwards, so re-roll it real quick. How's Die Hard 2 going, Iris? I know this is 6 minutes into tutorial, but so gonna roll for bail. These are both 20 gauge square. And at the bottom ish, I am going to fold this over. And I'm literally going to like fold it like that. Except for that was a little more insanely tight than I wanted it, but that'll be all right. Okay. I really should just be soldering this. However, we're doing a wire wrapping tutorial, so you don't solder in a wire wrapping tutorial. Is that right, Iris? Oh, fun. Yeah, it's probably commercial time every 10 minutes since there's only an hour left. And there's only, like, honestly, 20 minutes left in your movie. They're just going to do a commercial every 5 minutes. And each commercial will be 10 minutes long. I've dealt with enough of sci-fi's BS. I probably shouldn't slander sci-fi. I don't know how correct I am on the statements I just made. I just kind of made them. Oh. It should not be sliding. If it's sliding, it's telling me I didn't tighten down enough. Okay, so I'm now going to loosen each side of this up just slightly. Actually, I only need to loosen. Well, yeah, I'm gonna loosen. I only need to loosen one side up. I was right. And push it in quite a bit. But I do think I succeeded. Yeah, no, I'm good. Do you know Vaughn has over 110 hours of just wire wrapping tutorials? Just had to take a second to say how impressive that is. If you are unaware of who I am speaking of, check out Yvonne Williams, Back to Earth Creations. She is fantastic and a genius. I learned my wire wrapping from her. Well, a lot of my wire wrapping from her. Do not know that I have permission to divulge or name drop the other person who I learned wire wrapping from, so I just won't. But they are really, really good. Okay. Can't believe I'm going to try this. I really probably should have attempted to solder this frame, and if this fails, I will be soldering a frame. But if this fails, I'm going to leave this video up because I think we learn just as much from failure as we do from success. And with that being the case, I want you all to have the opportunity to learn from my failures on the rare occasion that they may happen. Because it theoretically is possible. Frame, by the way. Now we're going to take this 16 gauge wire or half round wire and we're going to upgrade it to 14 gauge. I think. Yeah, we're going to upgrade it to 14 gauge. Just because I want what I'm making to be sturdy. And if I did what I was about to do there with 16 gauge. Well, there was no way in hell I was going to be able to call it sturdy. Or sell it as sturdy. And that's one thing that I pride myself in is, like I have personally accidentally washed one of my pendants that had a bunch of stones set into it. And what did you know? All those stones were still in the dang thing when I got it out of the dryer. Miraculously. Okay, so I am wrapping 14 gauge like this. Now, folks, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news is, if this part goes smoothly, part 1 of this tutorial is actually going to be fairly, quick and easy. The bad news is that part 2 is going to be a nightmare. But you will find that out in part 2. Okay. Let us find out. All right, so we wrap those 2 pieces of 14 gauge up. And this is turning a little challenging. But we wrap them through this. No, come on. It's okay. Come on. Stick with me here, puppy. Stick with me. You're doing great. Doing great. Yeah, great. Okay. Heck. And then, after you've wrapped it up and over the stone like this, and you want to try to do it as evenly as possible. I mean, I do get that's like easier said than done, but then come around the back and you just swirl it right in, up and under. I'm not even playing with that. Like, and wow, that's a freaking miracle. Going to tighten that up slightly. Yeah, all right. So you just want this tight enough to hold this for now on your frame. That's all you need. And if you have made it this far, we're going to tackle the rest of this tomorrow in part 2. I really want to apologize for those who stuck with me through this live streaming, like Iris, of part 1 of this tutorial. For this purple labradorite piece that I'm going to show you how to create. Although you can do this with any piece of labradorite or any like, it doesn't have to be labradorite. You can, if you've got a cab, and it doesn't even have to be a pear. It can be, an oval. It can be a circle. Like, if you have a cabochon, I should have done a diamond. We'll work on it. We'll work on a diamond one. We're gonna get this one down. Like I said, I've seen pictures of people doing this particular wrap. There ain't no tutorials on it yet, but it doesn't hurt for there to be a tutorial. Oh, Iris ditches me. Damn. Okay, well, good night, everybody. This here is what you want to end up with. And we will, here's the back. And I'll even explain it real quick. Just in case, like, you want to make your frame so these two wires come down, wrap around the bottom. This one here wraps around this wire and then around this wire. Then you take your 14 gauge half round. Your frame is 20 gauge square. And you wrap your 14 gauge half round around the square, and then you bring it up over like that and use it to create this, yeah, we're gonna make somewhat of a invisible setting looking thing on this. So yeah, you know what, I'm gonna go a little further right now since Iris is here. Hi, Iris. I figure turn of the hour, you probably just got out of your wonderful movie. We're going to cut 2 pieces of 16 gauge half round. And we're going to drop them in our for later use pile because that's probably too thick for what I'm wanting to do. So then we're going to take a piece of 24 gauge square. Now, mind you, I am teaching you to do a small version of what I've seen, like what I see people do with like giant cabs and giant rocks. I try to do smaller versions of things because people like petite. Plus, that's the challenge. So I'm going to cut a, I don't know, 4.5, 5-inch piece of 24 gauge, and then I'm going to cut it in half. And then I am going to take half round 22 gauge. Iris, you must be back to watching your movie. And around the middle of this, and right now I'm just making a piece of detail wire. I guess since we're doing the frame, I might as well finish up the top too. Yeah, we'll get that later. Take this piece of detail wire. Not really sure enough, I wonder. Make sure that your frame is sturdy. The last thing you ever want is for your frame to come apart on you, especially in the middle of building. we might find a way to secure this a little bit later. By later, I mean shortly here. I don't like how it's looking. So, what I'm gonna do is just see that's long enough. Almost looks long enough. So what I'm gonna do, cut it. Some extra, just in case it's not long enough. Then I'm gonna cut 2 pieces off of this. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna stabilize the frame. And the way I'm gonna stabilize the frame is I'm gonna go underneath up top here. And then I'm going to wrap this piece of 22 gauge half round around this 2 or 3 times. Depending. Now that I got it there, I got it what feels like pretty tight. I'm going to spin it under. And then I'm going to pull as tight as I can without breaking it. And I'm going to like just tighten it. Sometimes that ain't easy. It looks pretty tight though. So I'm going to wrap around this once here. it around that piece 20 gauge once more. I'm gonna cut it. Make sure to throw that extra piece of sterling that I have in the waste bin. I could be doing this in copper, but I've decided to risk doing it in sterling. Okay, so we have the other side now. So we're going to do the same thing. Where we're going to tuck the half round. Well, we're going to do same concept, different. Up. So this goes down underneath around the 14 gauge and then over here. And just to tighten it down, I'm going to tighten it around the frame. Okay. I've got it tightened real good around that frame. I'm going to bring it back underneath. And, yep. I'll do the same thing over here where I tighten it over the frame. So now it's got extra support holding it down and holding that 14 gauge together. Tomorrow, we will put part 2 together and mount it on this, which could turn out to be quite difficult. We will see. I'm actually kind of hoping it will be somewhat difficult just for the challenges. What we are going to do is we're going to bow tie set marquees in. They're basically going to be floating. So if you watch this far through, thank you. Have a good night. Iris, have a good night. We will catch you. I'm hoping to do part 2 tomorrow. I can't believe. And I got my speech written. Yay. Good night, guys.